Before we get started today, I wanted to give you the heads up that this is going to be one of my longer videos because the topic is AI and fair rates for AI projects, synthetic speech, text-to-speech, things like that. It's a complicated issue and I simply cannot put it in 2 minutes. So if you don't have time now, I hope you'll come back to this video because you might want to hear the information that I'd like to share with you. So let's go. Did you see that Voices.com text-to-speech job I posted a few days ago? Up to 300,000 words for $15,000, full buyout forever and ever. By the time I'd posted it, more than 50 people had auditioned for it, and I hope I don't have to tell you that the budget offered is even below what a translator would charge, which is always lower than a voiceover. It's beyond insulting. But what amount of money would be fair for a job like this? Well, before I tell you what I think, here's some insider info you only get if you follow me. As you may have guessed, I am not a Voices.com member and never will be, so how do I know what's going on their site? Well, it's simple. I don't know what's going on, but my readers and followers who are members send me tips all the time, including this one. Over the years, I've developed relationships with sources who are embedded in voiceover competitions, pay-to-plays, coaching companies, etc., etc. It's a whole international network of reliable informants who tip me off. Now back to the question. What is a fair fee for a text-to-speech job of this magnitude? Even the GVAA rate guide has no category for synthetic speech and AI, so we're in uncharted territory. Tim Friedlander, the very helpful president of NAVA, the National Association of Voiceovers, had this to say. Quote, "The main info we have here is word count and voice assistant usage. If we go off of word count or finished time, we could look at either audiobook rates, e-learning, non-broadcast, or SAG-AFTRA co-ed industrial. If we look at audiobooks and use a combination of recording calculators, we get about 19 finished hours. Voices.com has put it at 22 hours. Using an average of $250 per finished hour, we end up with $5,500. The GVAA rate guide for e-learning of 35 cents per word. If we use that, we are at $70,000. If we use the GVAA rate guide for non-broadcast at per finished minute rate, we are at $51,700. So if we use the SAG-AFTRA co-ed industrial rate of time in the booth to record and estimate it takes 1.5 times to record, we can use the SAG-AFTRA rate of $505 per hour and times recording time at 33 hours, and that puts us at $18,150, which is a bit higher, but somewhat in line with the rate here. The huge unknown is usage and AI generation. If this is a voice assistant for a tiny app or a tiny company, this rate could be appropriate. If it is for someone like Apple, Amazon, Google, then we would expect to see this is the six-figure range. So a genuine question, how define this rate? Currently, it appears to be based off the SAG-AFTRA rate for co-ed industrial, which would then make it close to a fair rate based off the info we have. But I feel like we all think this rate is too low for this job. End quote. Now, remember, this is me speaking, not Tim Friedlander. Companies like Voices.com will not allow us to get in touch with the client, so they will not reveal who the client is. So we always are at a disadvantage, so we don't know how to quote correctly without that information. Now, Marcus Hutton, he's a member of the Equity Audio Committee, the union in the United Kingdom, commented, "From the equity end, we are pushing for time-limited contracts, the right to remove your data at the end of a contract period, and ongoing remuneration in line with international legislation and models, EU Copyright Directive, Beijing Treaty, etc. So at front and back end, and control over use." Sorry if I mocked your accent. Before I tell you my response, here's some news from Apple about using AI voices to narrate books. One author received the following message, and I quote, "Exciting news! You have a unique opportunity to participate in our beta version of the Apple Books digital narration program. We'll transform your existing ebooks into captivating audiobooks on iTunes with the power of AI-generated narration and open up a potential new revenue stream for your books. All we need is your permission." Now, what does that permission entail? This is what the author has to sign. Quote, by using the service Apple Books Digital Narration, I acknowledge that Apple owns all rights, title and interest in and to the audiobooks created by Apple Audio AI, including all worldwide copyrights and other intellectual property rights therein. This exclusive disclaimer only applies to audiobooks created by Apple AI, not applicable to other audio files created by a human or other software. The rights of those products will remain at the author of original content. So once Apple records it with their Apple Audio AI, Apple owns it. Thankfully, Apple is just a small and totally insignificant company, so why worry, right? Now, here's my answer to the question what a fair rate for a text-to-speech project as was posted on VDC would be. Remember, 300,000 words for $15,000 full buyout. I'd say the devil is always in the definition. In this case, in the definition of the word fair. $15,000, $15,000 may seem fair to the uninitiated and unfair to those in the know. It may be a fortune to someone in a low-wage country and a handout in the USA. The other challenge is that there are so many variables in VO, and that makes it hard to come up with a one-size-fits-all solution. Plus, clients are not always going to give us all the usage details. In light of that, I always assume, when quoting, that the client is paying for a full, worldwide, perpetual buyout for all media, unless otherwise specified. And that the solution created with my voice is so sophisticated that it could put me out of business forever. The number I come up with in this calculation is astronomical, and as a result, I never respond to these postings, because no client is going to pay what I would be asking. It would be close to a few $1 million. So that's my response. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Bye.